Hi everybody, this is Lori Wilcox. I am here to show you how to make a card that I made for a card swap at Onstage in Houston, Texas in March of 2024. So let me just switch over to my desktop here. Okay, so this is the card, and hopefully you can see how shiny it is with the gold. I've got some gold foil here, and I've got some gold embossing at the bottom here. And it's a single layer card, really. I mean, there's a mat, but it's like there's nothing popping up. Very thin card. And I really didn't use much in the way of stamps except for the sentiment. So the sentiment is from the Sweetly Scripted stamp set, which is part of the online exclusives that just came out or is coming out. Yeah, by the time you see this video, they will be out. So this is, I use the A Million Thanks here, but any of these would look great on this card. You could do the happy anniversary, congratulations, happy birthday, speedy recovery, save the date. So I just decided to go with A Million Thanks. And so I'm on my way to Houston next week. By the time you see this, I'll have already been there, but you can see I've done a huge stack of these cards, which I'll be giving away or trading with people. We'll be swapping cards while I'm there. So I've got 40 of them here. If I get time, I will make more because I think there's going to be a lot of great card swappers, and I always regret not making enough. So anyway, I've got 40 to start with. That's a good start. Hopefully I'll get some more done. So let me just show you how I made this card. You don't need a lot. We have a early espresso card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And we have a piece of pecan pie, which is the mat. And this is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And then we have our basic white piece, which is 5 by 3 3/4. And we have two little strips of gold foil, 1/2 inch by 2 inches. And those are the ones that are just going to be on the side there. So let's get started creating our scene. Now I've used quite a bit of colors. Sorry, I'm just looking for my, oh, there it is. Need my Versamark as well for this one. So these are all the stamp ink colors we're using. We've got Smoky Slate, Wild Wheat, Crumb Cake, Pecan Pie, and Early Espresso. And then also Versamark we need. All right, and I've got 3 blending brushes I'm going to use. One is for the gray, Smoky Slate. I've got one, the brown, which I'm going to use for all the browns. And I've got one, this one, which I use for the Wild Wheat. All right, so we're going to start by, you can see I've got a little either moon or sun, whichever way you want to look at it there. So I'm going to take I've got a 1-inch circle punch, but you can use any die, the small circle die of some sort from maybe Stylish Shapes or any of the other sets that have a circle. And that circle doesn't have to be an inch. It could be a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. That's whatever you have. So I am going to punch a circle out of a Post-it note. You can use masking paper too. I'm just going to use this one. There we go. So that's going to be my, I think it's a sun in this case. I'm going to say a sun. And I'm going to put that kind of in the middle, maybe slightly to the right, about 1.25 inches down from the top. It doesn't have to be exact, just roughly. And let's start with the Smoky Slate. I'm just going to I'm going to swirl my brush in there, and then starting off of my card piece, I'm just going to start swirling it on the grid paper and come in. This is not, because I made so many cards, this ink pad is getting pretty dry, so I'm going to have to re-ink it, but I don't want it really dark right now. I just want a light coating. And what I'm doing is doing about like the top half of this layer and going right over that sun. Just getting a little touch of gray. Okay, that's about right. Enough. Close that. And that's it for the gray. Now I'm going to come in just with a tiny bit of wild wheat kind of across the middle, sort of going across where the sun is. And I don't want it too dark, so let's just, yeah, see that one I definitely have to get some off. And then I'm going to come in and just put a little bit, just swirl it through the middle area there. Okay, that's it. That's all we need. All right, now close that up. That's it for wild wheat. And I'm going to grab the crumb cake. And get a brownie brush. Just make sure there's, I had some early espresso on there, so I'm going to take that off. And then get some crumb cake. And we just want to, we kind of want to go over, we're going to come in from the top and the sides here. Whoops. And we're going to go over that sun a little bit as well. That's pretty good. That's all we really want. Just kind of that mix of those three colors there. Okay, and then I'm going to take that Post-it note off. And there's your sun or moon. Looks more like a moon here, doesn't it? Okay, and then I want to take some pecan pie. And I've already got some, so this is the larger Post-it notes here that I've, okay, so this is like a big, this is, how wide is that? 6 inches wide, 6 by 4. So I've got, and I'm going to try reusing these ones because these are the ones I used for the last 40 I made. So let's see, this is the first one. And what I want to do is, see, I want it so that this ripped torn edge is down, and you can kind of see, this is it here. So I'm just going to overlap the sun a little bit like this. Okay. Grab my pecan pie, and then I'm just going to swirl that, coming in from the Post-it note along that edge. Get a little bit more. See, when I tore this, I kind of made it like 2 shallow mountains with a dip in the middle there. So that's kind of what it was going for. It does, I mean, you can tear it however you want, really. You could have higher mountains if you want. I kind of took inspiration from a painting that we have in our master bedroom. It had some shallow mountains, so I'm going to take that one off. There, isn't that looking cool? And now let's take this one next. And this one is for these lighter ones that look like they're in the background. So I'm going to close up pecan pie and grab the crumb cake again. And then we're going to, so this one has a little bit more of a dip in the middle. So I'm going to kind of put that there. And then I've got, so these two spaces here, which I want to cover with crumb cake. Actually, I should have, make sure there's no pecan pie. Not that it matters. It's just all browns. So I'm going to go over that area with crumb cake. On both sides. Okay, take that off. And now you can kind of see these ones, mountains in the background. And let's see what's next. And then we are going to grab the early espresso. Actually, you know what? I think I still had some early espresso on this brush I can see here because it's darker than this one with the pecan pie. And here's one of the other ones. This is quite dark, the pecan pie. So this is, you know what? I might go over that. Let me do that. I'm going to go over it again. Pecan pie and making sure it's the right color. Yes. And let's get this brush cleaned off a little bit more. Get some, put this guy back on. This is the first one. Just going to line it up. Like so. Let's get our pecan pie. See if I can make that. Yeah, there we go. A little bit more of that reddishy brown color. I think it ties in a little better, like with the gold and the pecan pie mat that we're using. Okay, so that's a little bit better. It's still quite dark, but that's all right. Okay, now let's grab that early espresso. And our last ripped piece. You can really use one ripped piece and just move it around, you know. But I just did 3 different ones just because I was doing an assembly line of cards for my swaps. So I had to figure out the quickest way to do them. So let's put that down like so. And then we want this to be quite dark. Gonna get nice deep early espresso along the bottom edge. Okay, a little bit more, quite deep. There we go. I'm going to keep that open. I'm going to need it in a second. All right, there we go. Isn't that looking cool? This one's almost, looks like I've got a bit more gray. It's like a stormy sky. Every one is different. I tell you, all these, every single card, none of them look exactly the same. Okay, now I'm going to put the sentiment on there at the top, and I've got it set up. Still have my Stamparatus here, which Stampin' Up! Does not sell anymore, but you can, if you have one, you can use it or use one of the other ones that's out on the market. So I'm going to put that right there. And slightly ink up. Okay. Close that up. There we go. A million thanks. Okay, let's get rid of this. And let's close up this. Now we are going to do some gold embossing. So, you'll really see that these are all so different. So, I mean, what I did was I took, well, I'll show you what I did. I'm taking the Versamark ink pad, and I just want to like drag one of the edges across the card, across the early espresso section there. So let's just do that. Kind of make a wavy kind of line across there. And then you can kind of look at it and see where you might want some more. Let's put another swirl maybe up higher here. And okay, and then I'm just gonna do a bit of dabbing here. We can always fix it up once we get the powder on. Okay, let's try that. Get my gold embossing powder. Just adding here, and just gonna paste a piece of copy paper here. Okay, so I'm just going to cover this area that I just put the Versamark on. And then we will flick that off, see how it looks. All right, so now I want this edge, because you know I kind of dabbed it and it kind of got these straight lines. So I'm just gonna take my finger and just mess that up a bit. Like so. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's put our powder back. All right, and then get my heat gun. Here. Right, let it heat up for a few seconds. And let's watch the magic happen here. See that? You know what? The brown was probably, the early espresso was probably still a bit wet, so it might have taken on more of the powder. But that's okay. That's pretty cool. Just you can't see much of the dark brown right now, but that's all right. Okay. That looks pretty cool. See, the one I have in my bedroom has a yeah, beautiful gold along the bottom. It looks really pretty. But see how that shines there? Now let's grab our mat. So we have our pecan pie mat, which is just a tiny bit bigger. Like I said, it was 5 1/8 and 3 7/8. Oh, wait a minute, something's wrong here. What didn't I? That is 3 7. Oh, whoops. This white piece is slightly too big, so let me trim a little bit off. Because I didn't measure that properly, so I don't want to take any off the top because the sentiment is pretty close there. So this is supposed to be 3 3/4. Yeah, just looked like it's 1/8 of an inch. It was too big. Okay, now we can glue that down on the mat. Make sure this time, yeah, it fits this time. Grab our glue. And I'm going to put a little extra down where that gold is, just to make sure it holds it down properly, because embossing might have made it curl a bit. Okay. Get that on there. Tiny 1/16 of an inch border around there. Won't really hold this gold end, really push it down well, hold that in place. All right, now let's get our card base, which is the early espresso. And then these two little gold pieces, I just want them in the middle. So let's glue those down. Sorry, not the middle, but the middle of the side. So I center this sort of there, and then I know it goes right about there. Okay, and do the other side. I didn't add any embellishments to this because I figured there's lots of gold already, but if you would like to add some embellishments, definitely go ahead and do that. All right, and I would put a white layer on the inside. Okay, and then that's just going to get glued right on the front. So I would love it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm just, I don't have a lot on there yet, but I will be putting a lot more on there. And I do love using or creating scenes with blending brushes, and I love all sorts of cards. So yeah, I would love it. It's Creative Stamping with Lori. It's the name of my business. And my blog is at loriwilcox.com. So you're welcome to go there, and I'll sometimes post tutorials on there. There we go. So you can see how different they are now. This one's more of a stormy day. This one's a little brighter, so, but they both look cool, don't they? And you can see that gold, glittery gold on there. It looks so cool. I love how it's kind of random at the bottom like that, right? So yeah, hope you enjoyed that, and we'll talk to you soon.